Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeart Radio Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys from down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And of course, you good old boys up in Canada, we love you. But Big C, there's no one we love more than all of you good old boys down south in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
We got free showers for everybody who wants to walk outside their house. I mean, the deluge we've been getting is crazy, but I tell you, when we love the fresh water, when we make it the moonshine, it makes it all so everything. Water for free, we're getting showers for free down here. What more can you ask out of life?
That's so funny. One time, I just want to say today is it is August the 7th, 2017 in the land of the free and the home of the brave on a beautiful Monday. One time I was visiting some good old boys down south and I said, man, it's raining in the summertime? It was hot as heck outside, Big C, but there's this water pouring down all over the property. Old boy was spraying the top of his house with a sprinkler, Big C, to keep it cool. I said, have you guys heard of air conditioning, Big C? Your thoughts?
I've been looking at the mound in the back of my house where I plant all my melons and everything.
Yeah.
And I haven't had to run the sprinkler in a while, and I'm watching them get all big and juicy. So we're gonna have a lot of fresh fruit here coming soon. But this rain in some places is what people can handle it. And our thoughts and prayers go out to some of those places.
Definitely.
That's just been overrun by the inches and inches of rain, Charlton, and people have lost homes. And, just down in New Orleans like this last week, and they've had flooding down there last night. So once again, those people down there in the Crescent City are going through it, and all our thoughts and prayers are with them, and everybody can stay safe and healthy. And that's always one of the major concerns of Big C Sports, Charlton.
Yeah.
It's not only that we want to bring you good news, favorable news, and sports, but we also want to let our hearts and thoughts go and prayers go out to those that are less fortunate and that are having hard times here in America and around the world, Charlton.
Yeah, Big C, that's very well said. We do want to hope everyone, the best, wish everyone well, and obviously pay attention to all the safety warnings out there as well. Big C, a little bit of sad news in the world of sports, especially in the world of baseball. Don Baylor passed away, and then I also heard that Dalton passed away too, the catcher for the Phillies, Darren Dalton, and he was only 55. And Baylor, I believe he was in his 60s, late 60s, but that's too young for men who actually lived a great life in the world of sports. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you think about Darren Dalton, Charlton, the catcher of the Philadelphia Phillies. Spent most of his career with Phillies, and he was traded back in the 90s to the Marlins, and he was able to win a world championship ring with them. But Dalton had been battling brain cancer, Charlton, for the past 4 years. It's one of those states, in America that we wish all that goes into cancer research. We know the V Foundation that's sponsored by ESPN does a tremendous job, year in and year out, getting donations and funding for cancer research. The great Jimmy V, coach of North Carolina State basketball team, passed away of that horrific disease, Charlton, and many other Americans we've lost too soon to that same fate. Don Baylor, one of the former All-Star in Major League Baseball and World Series winner with the Minnesota Twins, Charlton. He's also one of only 4 men to win an MVP and also win Manager of the Year in Major League Baseball. So great feats done by Don Baylor as a player and manager. And once again, Charlton, you said just sports figures gone too soon. We have these men etched in our minds as far as the heroic feats that they do in the games that they play. And we never think about their mortality, Charlton, but it does come to us all. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the Dalton and Baylor family, with their tremendous losses over the weekend.
Very much so. Well said, Big C. I do want to say today's segment sponsored by Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. But also, Big C, in the world of sports, would you have ever thought that Usain Bolt would lose a race? Not only lose a race, but he came in 3rd place, Big C. Your thoughts? Gatlin took him down, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you think about Gatlin. Gatlin's 5 years older than Usain Bolt. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's his last race, but Usain had been suffering with a back back injury, so anyone who understands the use of your legs and when your back comes into play, you're not going to win that battle. Because this man has done more in track and field than we ever thought would ever be done, Charlton. People, they marvel at him winning back-to-back Olympics, 4 years apart. Not only that, he made a triplet out of it. This is the only 3-time winner, Charlton, consecutive winner in the 100, 200 meters in Olympics. When they talk about great Olympians, you have to compare he and Michael Phelps, in the same breath.
Yeah.
I know Phelps has more medals because he competes in more events. But when you think about Usain Bolt, the dominance that he has had over the world, over a 12-year span, Charlton, winning these multiple Olympic gold medals, world championships, and all, Charlton, to lose a race, yes, it seems like anticlimactic and a mark against his great career, but it's not, Charlton.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's done, but to establish himself as the fastest man in the world for over a decade, Charlton, is just a phenomenal feat.
And I think, Big C, the fact that he did lose a race, I remember this reminds me of Carl Lewis when he was going against Ben Johnson. No pun intended, but Ben Johnson found a way to beat Carl Lewis. And obviously we had all the scandal that came on after that, Ben Johnson running out of Canada. Obviously he accused Carl Lewis of the same thing Carl Lewis accused him of. Usain Bolt, we haven't had any type of negative talk with his performance in the Olympics, and that's a good thing. Obviously we've had so much scandal in the world of track and field. The fact that guys can run that fast without their legs coming off their bodies, Big C, that's a testament to the fact that these guys they're the real deal, Big C. What do they think about when you lose a race like that? Is it a blow to his ego? Obviously he has some injuries, but is that a blow to his ego, or will that make him want to come back stronger, Big C? Your thoughts?
I don't think it's a blow to his ego, Charlton. I think Usain always, like any great champion, would want to go out on top, winning its last race, which is a very difficult thing to do. We've seen so many great athletes, regardless of the sport, whether it's boxing, baseball, basketball, football, stay in the game too long.
Yeah.
Track and field, I don't know if track and field really has a time clock, Charlton, because there's always some young gun coming up. Because it's an individual competition, not a team sport where you have to rely on others. You have to rely on your body, and keeping your body in peak condition in an individual and even in a team sport is a very difficult thing to do, Charlton. Once you cross that threshold of 30, I mean, people are here 30 is not that old. Sports is ancient, regardless of the sport. I know we're talking about Tom Brady going to be 40 and Marvin Harrison going to be 40 in professional football. Michael Jordan couldn't make it to 40 in basketball, nor could many other players. Charlton, Kareem was one of the few elites that could play into that rarefied age, into the 40s, Charlton, and be productive.
Yeah, productive.
Because of his unique skills. But when we look at a sprinter, and everything is relied on the legs, Charlton, whether you're a high jumper, a pole vaulter, or a discus thrower, in track and field, everything comes from the legs, that lower core.
Yeah.
And when that starts to give away, your whole physical mechanics give away at that point, Charlton. And we talked about the back of Bolt.
Yeah.
When he's had the back problems. And anybody who's dealt in athletics, and I remember Larry Bird, the latter part of his career, always laying in the corner of Boston Garden with a heat pack on his back.
Yeah.
Because his legs just would not function. Because his back was killing him and having him in so much pain. So you have to understand what Bolt goes through. I mean, he's a long, angly strider to start with.
Yeah.
He's always slow out of the box. And with his back giving him problems, you can see how much he fell behind in races. And he didn't even win the semifinals, Charlton, to get to the finals.
Yeah.
It's something that was uncommon with Bolt, and he ended up losing the finals nevertheless.
You got Big C, and obviously when you think about athletes, you just mentioned guys in their 40s playing. And I may be wrong, but I think in the Negro League baseball, I think it was a Satchel Paige that pitched almost to 50.
He pitched in the major leagues, Charlton, as a rookie, and he was around 49 to 50 years old when he finally made it to the major leagues as a rookie.
Yeah. Now, could you imagine when you think about that, and you think about the same thing going on today? History tends to repeat itself. It just happens to do it in different sports. When you talk about Satchel Paige as a young man, imagine had he been given the chance to show what he could do in the majors as a young man, how many players he would have dominated. And it goes to show there's only one reason that he was not allowed to play in the major leagues is because society was separate back then, the same way it's still separate in some segments of society now. Yeah, I'm not saying it's like a Colin Kaepernick, but there was a reason he could not play in the majors, Big C. Go ahead and touch on that if you don't mind.
Because of his dominance, Charlton and many other African Americans with their dominance. Satchel Paige was really known to pitch double hitters during his career. At the same day, pitching 2 games.
Yeah.
And so this is how dominant of a player that he was. It was not uncommon for Satchel Paige to strike out 15 to 20 players in a game. Major League Baseball, Charlton, used to scrimmage against the Negro Leagues during the offseason, during winter ball.
Yeah.
But it was something that wasn't publicized. The last game, the last series the Negro Leagues played against a Major League team, I believe it was in 47 when they played the Yankees.
Yeah.
Now, the Yankees had just won the World Series 4-1 or 4-0.
Yeah.
And the Negro League All-Stars beat the Yankees in a 7-game series 4-0.
Yeah.
And the Yankees never scored more than 2 runs in a game.
Yeah.
This was the dominance of the African-American players, and so white America did not want to let this cross over and show that they were inferior or not the dominant race in athletics.
Yeah.
And so they kept the African-American players out. It's even like the ballyhoo entrance of Jackie Robinson into Major League Baseball. It was nice to see integration, but it was done for economics.
Yeah.
They brought Jackie Robinson in, and Jackie Robinson was not even a star in the Negro Leagues, but he was brought over. If they would have brought over the dominant players in the Negro Leagues at that time, it would have been a total change in the face of baseball. You think about a catcher, Josh Gibson. Josh Gibson hit 82 home runs in one season. Everybody talked about the Barry Bonds hitting the 73 and Mark McGwire and, those guys hitting 61.
Yeah.
Maris hitting 61 home runs. Josh Gibson hit 82. And think about it. Josh Gibson, in his career, Charlton, he had a 12-year career, 14-year career in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And it calculated he hit some 850 home runs in his 14-year career.
Yeah.
Although they say there's no official records, and there's not many official records of many of the African-American League seats, Charlton, because they didn't want that to be in the Major League books.
Yeah.
To let them know the dominance of these players. But this was something that was held out of society's hands for a long time, denying America the opportunity to see the greatest athletes out there. African Americans have been shunned for years in all major sports, whether it was basketball, baseball, or football.
Yeah.
They never got their just due. And they still don't, Charlton, because so many are held back. Because you say in the status quo, you got to keep a certain quota of white players in all leagues, Charlton, because the whites are buying the tickets. I think that fanfare in America now has gotten to the point that they don't care who's playing whatever position. We see that in college football.
Yeah.
When the dominant teams in college football, Charlton, 80% of them are playing an African-American quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't see any less ticket sales at those university games, Charlton. I don't see where there would be any less ticket sales in an NFL game. When you look at the African-American quarterbacks that are starting now, Charlton, and have started over time, there have not been any fall off in ticket sales from fans. It's like this backlash from the Baltimore
the Ravens
owners said, well, I'm going to put it on the fans whether I should, sign Colin Kaepernick or not.
Yeah.
I don't think the fans care who play quarterback. You're always going to get somebody disgruntled.
Yeah.
Any place. But if they give up their season ticket, Charlton,
I'll take them. Yeah.
There's never going to be a shortage of NFL. And when they talk about sponsors,
yeah.
The NFL has a contract that's not even worried about sponsors.
No.
That $8 billion that they get from broadcast
revenue,
it's not going to go away.
No.
ESPN is not going to pull out. CBS is not going to pull out. NBC and Fox is not going to pull out if Colin Kaepernick was in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the NFL.
Yeah. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, all of it, Big C. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation of this billion-dollar industry. And you know what? Ben and Mark, they work with Big C Sports. They've been around half a century, Big C. They cover you whether you're a pro athlete, a collegiate athlete, or you're a high school player, even your mom and pop soccer league. Big C, let them know that Big C sent you. I got to bring this point up because you just touched on something like you always do when you brought up the fact that, was it 81 home runs or 82 home runs that was hit? But 82 home runs by Josh. But now think about that. Gibson has 82 home runs, Barry Bonds 73, and Barry Bonds was must-see TV. Imagine what America was robbed of, the sports fan, not the bigots, because the bigots they'll watch whatever looks like them, but the American sports fan. Could you imagine not being able to see someone hit 82 home runs in one season, all because he's black? And it's all because the powers that be did not want black Americans being seen on television by mainstream audiences. But what they've missed out on, because it's a money business, look at how many more millions of dollars they missed out on back in the day because they were too dumb to realize that people like seeing teams win no matter what color they are. That people want to see their heroes be successful on the field no matter what color they are. That people want to see the best athletes on the field no matter what color they are. I think the Olympics has shown that. Can you imagine 82 home runs in one season? And I'll bring that up because of this, Big C. Before I ask you the next question, how many sportscasters have made that stat apparent over the season that we're in baseball season right now, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's something that's not going to be touched on because you have to, at that point when you make those comparisons of the Negro League players and compare it to the Major League players, the white players of that day, you're going to find out that these players are inferior. And they're not in the business of letting you know that the best players were kept out of the game.
Out of the game.
You don't want to do that. Because all of a sudden they're saying that the injustice has been done.
Yeah.
It's almost like at the NFL Hall of Fame Johnson speeches this past weekend.
Yeah.
I really admire Kenny Easley for standing up saying Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
He set a tone that, you could also see the uneasiness of the broadcasters and the stadium at that point. He said not only did Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. So we have to find a way in our criminal justice and social system to stop the carnage that's going on out there.
Yeah.
And I really praise Kenny. He hadn't been on in a long time, but, this is something that had to be said. And he also, in his speech, was speaking in behalf of Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
His rhetoric was a backup for what Colin Kaepernick has spoke about. He didn't speak about violence.
Nope.
He spoke about having nonviolence.
Yeah.
Finding a way that it would be safe for young African-American men and men of color to be able to walk up and down the street without being shot.
Yeah.
And being shot and having an excuse for being shot and no one being punished for it, Johnson.
Yeah.
And I'll take that in comparison to what Damian Thomas was saying. I like what Damian is a person, tremendous person. But the word can't we just all get along is a misphrase in society.
Very passive.
We should all get along as people regardless.
Yeah.
That is a non-question scenario.
Yeah.
Can we all just get along? That's what you're supposed to do as human beings.
Yeah.
But that's overshadowed by why can't we have justice?
Justice, amen.
Why can't we have equality?
For everybody.
Can we get along? I don't want to hear that anymore. Rodney King burned that phrase out.
Yeah.
And what happened to him, and we saw what happened to Rodney King. Can't we just all get along?
Yeah.
It's beyond that now, Charles. It's like, why is there so much injustice in America?
Yeah.
Why do so many young people have to be shot in the streets of America? It's like, we look at the NRA, and I know it's a very powerful force in America.
Yeah.
But the NRA nor the president said nothing about the senator or the congressional police officer that was shot in Washington 2 months ago, Johnson.
No.
That was quiet because that was a long gun, Johnson, with a max capacity clip.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I go back to Newtown, this tragedy that happened at this grammar school that no parent should have to live through in America. You send your child away to a sanctuary and they don't come back home.
Yeah.
Where 20 young bright lives were lost, Charlton, in Newtown. Okay, along with 6 educators. Because you let a man go in there that you knew had a mental illness, but you still allow them to purchase a weapon. And these parents have fought against that as well as
all the time.
Charlton,
yeah.
Asking Congress. We're not asking you to ban guns in America. We're asking you to ban the size of clips in America. The number of ammo that can be put in one clip.
Yeah.
To limit these large capacity clips. Congress said no. Because no one goes out Charlton hunting deer or rabbits or pheasants.
With semi-automatic. Yeah.
Now, I'm a hunter. I go out. But I only hunt for what we're going to utilize. We don't hunt to waste.
Yeah.
If we're going to utilize it, we hunt for it.
Yeah.
But we don't use these large capacity clips, Charlton. That's not what we do when we're out hunting.
I agree.
So these large capacity clips that are sold in society, and many athletes walk around. We've seen many athletes lose their jobs and their lives and are in jail for using these large capacity clips. So no sector of society is immune to it, Charlton. It's just Congress and the NRA saying that it's acceptable. These are the only clips you use to hunt human beings, Charlton.
Yeah.
Not to hunt wildlife.
I agree, very much so.
These are meant to hunt human beings. And society needs to understand that. You have a president now that is an advocate of hunting human beings.
Yeah, being rough.
He talks about it openly.
Yeah.
And so he puts all of Americans in peril. Not just minorities, Charlton. All of Americans are in peril when you have these large capacity clips.
Well, Big C, that's a very good point. I was very touched by the story of, Terrell Davis when he mentioned about as a young man. I think he said he was 14 and had a shotgun held to his head. That's not an experience that anyone should have to deal with. And I love the fact that, we had some stories where you see he was appraised as a football player. But all of these men they talked about, whether it was Jason Taylor or Terrell Davis or Easley, how Kurt Warner, they grew up with a lot of poverty around them. They weren't born with silver spoons in their mouth. These guys had it tough, and they found a way to make themselves successful in football. And then even after football, a lot of these guys have worked in television, many on the NFL Network with Kurt Warner and also LaDainian Tomlinson and Terrell Davis. But I want to ask you a speech that I thought was very also powerful from a different position. Jerry Jones, when he gave his speech about being drunk in Mexico, and he woke up, came to sobriety, and he found out that the Dallas Cowboys were for sale. Well, Jerry said that he made a phone call to buy the Dallas Cowboys. He said, you may not know who I am, but I'm Jerry Jones, and I'm going to buy the Dallas Cowboys. But keep in mind that he had to have the money because society, that was not stopping him. He did not have Jim Crow to deal with, which is what a lot of these guys were born into. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to look deep. We just want to look at the jersey. But a lot of these guys, like LT was born in Jim Crow. So was Easley. So was Taylor. They were born during the Jim Crow era. I don't know if Taylor was, but I know that Easley was. Okay? And Jerry Jones was also born in it, but he didn't have to suffer from it. And when you told the story about Gibson hitting the 82 home runs, and because of Jim Crow, the society was robbed of that. If you could just touch on Jerry Jones, how he was successful, but he had never had to overcome racism in buying the Dallas Cowboys or even being in the oil business. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Jerry Jones is out of Arkansas, and we know that was one of the Jim Crow states, Charlton.
Mm-hmm.
And, when something came, when there was an opportunity to buy something into an elite fraternity, he was invited in. Now, you got to understand, there are billionaires and multi-millionaire African-Americans in America.
Can't get in.
They can afford to be into a sports team.
Yeah.
But they're not so easily invited in, Charlton. They can make a bid, but that bid would not be accepted. Even when you get these athletes who try to get groups together to buy into a league, they're not accepted because the face of it is an African-American. Jerry Jones had this opportunity to go in and buy the Dallas Cowboys. There may have been other minorities in the running to buy the Dallas Cowboys. It's like in the NFL that there's one minority owner, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's Shaq Khan of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he is not publicized as an owner. He is one of the most gracious owners in the league, but he is one of the faces that you never see.
Yeah.
He's never really talked about because he's still here.
Yeah.
And so the NFL, even though he's there with the money, they don't want it to be known about what he does, but he's tied to the NFL as well as he's tied to the auto industry in America. This is the man who invented the bumper for pickups.
Yeah.
The V-bumper for pickups is a staple on all pickups used in America today and around the world. He invented that. And so that's where his billions have come from. But, as far as a minority owner in the NFL, he never gets any publicity in the area of Jerry Jones. Now, Jerry has done tremendous things for the NFL since being with Dallas.
He has.
He put the team and won Super Bowls. He built this Palatial Palace down in Austin, Texas. The AT&T Stadium, which is the flagship of the NFL.
Oh, down, yeah. Yeah.
He's paid his players well, Charlton. He's gone through a lot of coaches also. But, for him to have the opportunity to get to that place.
Yeah.
And we look at all ownership in the NFL that has occurred in the last 20 years, Charlton, would change the franchise. Other than Khan down in Jacksonville, they've all been white.
Yeah.
No one else is given opportunity. And so, but Jerry Jones is an a tremendous trailblazer.
Yeah.
In what he's done in the oil industry, in the business world, as well as in the sports world. And it's deserved that he's in the NFL Hall of Fame, as many other owners who have been in the NFL for 20 years, Charlton.
You know what?
But to have that opportunity was because he was white.
Yeah.
And that's not being racist.
It's just a fact.
Because he was white. He was given that opportunity. If the deal had came between he and a black millionaire at the same time offering the same amount of money, Charlton, it would have been Jerry Jones to get the Dallas Cowboys.
Big C, that's a very good point. And the reason we bring it up is because I look at LT's speech, and he got a standing ovation because he stood up and said, you know, let's all get along. Let's all be one Americans. But black Americans did not start Jim Crow. We didn't start the bigotry. We didn't start that. That's institutionalized. And it took black and white to eradicate it. And today, it will take black and white to eradicate it. But let's not be disingenuous. It takes people with power and a direct good consciousness to have liberty and justice for all. Even the Emancipation Proclamation, when that was written, we had slavery. But our founding fathers saw for a better place to perform a more perfect union in the future. And you have guys like Jerry Jones that I respect tremendously as a business person. But I can always look at every African-American athlete that had their speech for the Hall of Fame. They all had white agents. And you choose who you want to choose, but the fact that they're mostly white, that's an issue within itself. But the point is, I would love to see these white oligarchy, these guys like a Jerry Jones, these guys like the Davises that own the Raiders, the guys that own the 49ers, the Barlows back in the day. Isaiah, all these guys who own teams, they could, if they wanted to, and maybe they just don't want to, and they don't have to, but if they wanted to, they could have given that speech that LT gave about let's all get along, and let's all have liberty and justice for everybody, and create a more an equal playing field, because it takes money, not someone on the bottom. It takes people in power to make that change. Big C, does that make any sense? Yeah.
Because of the uneasiness, you don't lose power at an event like that. You turn the teleprompter off so we can no longer speak, because the network, ESPN just felt uneasy in the NFL.
You know it was a new state-of-the-art stadium, Big C. Maybe they have problems with the newness of it. Yeah.
There's nothing new about that, but the uneasiness was there, and they turn off his prompter.
Yeah.
And that's you can see that occurring. And he even stated they turn off my prompter.
Yeah.
You know, I guess they want me out of here, and they did.
Yeah.
Okay, enough is enough. They didn't want the NFL Hall of Fame used, Charlton, as a platform for equality.
Yeah.
But that's not what they looked at. And the NFL got kind of ticked at Kenny Easley for doing that. And I praise him.
Yeah.
I praise him more than I praise LaDainian, because like I said, what LaDainian did, we've heard that.
We already heard it.
What Kenny Easley did was he backed up Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
In a way without mentioning Colin's name.
Yeah.
And they were feeling that because he was calling for the change in the justice system.
Yeah.
The injustice of how people are treated in America. And America doesn't want to hear that. Colin Kaepernick never said it on television. But Kenny Easley said it on a platform that had all the NFL watching, whether you're on the NFL Network or ESPN. And they felt real uneasy. The producers and the directors, how do you kill a speech in the middle of it? You can't.
Yeah.
And so they had to let it run as far as they could before they could turn off his prompter.
Yeah.
But he would not get out of it. But he was justified. And I really praise him, because
so do I.
Hopefully it opens more eyes in America, not just in the NFL or NBA. I wanted to open eyes in America to what's occurring. All races are killing all races.
Yeah.
And it's wrong. It is honestly wrong. But for when it's done and lied about, and it's seen on camera.
Yeah.
And the people that are caught, you hope to catch anyone committing a crime.
Yeah.
Whether they're a private citizen or elected official or a hired official. If you're committing a crime, you're a criminal. And you should be forced to go through the same criminal justice system that anyone else does, Chuck, and not hide behind whatever you're wearing as a uniform.
Well, Big C, that's a very good point, and I'm glad because I'm proud of Jerry Jones. I'm proud of LT, Terrell Davis, Kenny Easley, Jason Taylor, Kurt Warner, Morton Anderson. All of them did a good job. They earned it the right to be there, but someone opened that door for them, a lot like what you mentioned with Josh Gibson. I hope that sports can bring our society together, but we can only do it when we're honest. Big C, in the final 2 minutes, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He had a slogan called Rumble, Young Men Rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, what I'm looking forward to is baseball. I'm looking forward to Mike Trout getting his 1,000th hit. He turned 26 years old today, Charlton. He has 999 base hits in baseball.
Wow.
He's the fastest man to 999 in baseball history. And so hopefully, Charlton, tonight he will hit that 1,000th hit crescendo. He's just a tremendous player. He would have been there already, but he had that thumb injury a few months back, Charlton, but he came right back in with the flair in the baseball. And I'm also interested to see what's going to go on in Miami with your buddy Jay Cutler.
Yeah. $10 million. Yeah.
And he's back in the NFL. He's with Adam Gates. And so because he knows, Adam Gates in office, let me tell you about Adam Gates and Jay Cutler. A lot of people don't realize they said he had one of the hottest offenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
When they were together with the Chicago Bears were 22 in offense in the NFL. I think that's in the long run.
Yep. Yeah.
And they were 25, in 25 fifth place in scoring. I think it was only 17 scored less than them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that's a tremendous boost for Miami.
Yeah.
Last year, and to bring a quarterback in who completed 50% of his passes within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage when Adam Gates was his coach in Chicago.
Big C, they're making it seem like Brock Greasy came out of retirement. He might come out of retirement looking at also the fact that they hired Cutler. Big C. And speaking of coming out of retirement, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide on the iHeart Radio Network. Follow Big C Sports, the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I also want to say there's never any excuse for domestic violence. No woman should have to go through that garbage, or man either. If you know anyone going through domestic violence, just call 911 because no one should have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.